Good morning and welcome back again. Today we are going to talk about chain rule. The chain of what? The chain of the derivative. So we have a 14.4, I think. We are there. Let me check. Yes, we have a chain rule. So we saw in the partial derivative in the previous lecture, we talked about how to find the derivative and things. Now we are going to talk about if you have a many independent indeterminate form, midterm form, so an intermediate variable. So how we deal with one? I prefer to read the question. For example, first we can see the law. Look at here. Your function w depends on the x and y. At the same time, x and y. At the same time, x depends on t, y depends on t. So how we find this one? So we have a chain. Chain, you know what it means. It means that box in the box, package in the package in the package. So like that. So you can see from here, directly, if you want to find w by dt, we say dw by dt. Why? Because, let me give you the example. You say w is equal to x plus y. At the same time, x is what? Is a function with t, which is equal to t squared. And y is the function of t is equal to, for example, square root of t. So if you substitute w, you will get t squared plus square root of t. Am I right? So you can see t is the direct with, w is the direct with t. That's why we can call dw by dt. But if I talk about w with x and y, I cannot say dw dx. No, in that time I should say dw partial, right? By partial x. Why? Because w depends on two things. Shall I repeat it for you? You got it here? Good. And of course, partial w by partial y. Why? Because w is the function with two variables. That's why. So partial. But if you substitute, it will be just only t. That's why feel free if you substitute or not. But when we say find partial, for example, you need to use that one. That's why we have a dw, but if you recognize it, but we have partial x, partial y, at the same time, again, dx by dt, not partial. Why? Why not partial? Because I know x is only by t squared. So if I talk about derivative of dx, I should say dx by dt. At the same time, we say y equal to square root of t. If I want to find derivative, because y alone contain only t, so we have a t. So generally speaking, if your function is contain only one or single variable, we say d. If it's a two variables, we say partial or more. Clear? Maybe you understand 50%, 20%, it's okay. Just look at the example. Now you will get the things. Read the example. He say what? He say find your w is what? Yeah. Is xy. The w is equal to xy, and x equal to, for example, I don't know, sine or cosine t, and y equal to sine t. The student here, they have two options to answer. To find dw by dt. To find dw by dt. They have two options. The first, to substitute xy. The second, to use the chain rule. But in this example, it's easy to help you. But if we mix more three examples, then we need to follow the instruction. We need to follow the chain rule. That's why I'm going to write dw over dt. I know is the partial w plus partial w. By what? By what? By x and y. Am I right? Then at the same time, I know x is a function by t alone, and y is a function by t alone. Clear? Then combine all these together, you will get dw over dt. Shall I do it? I think it's easy. I'm not going to solve for you. Clear, Kaka? So dw by dx is equal to what? Yalla, tell me. Derivative of w by x. I'll just, x is the variable, y is the number. So derivative of x, 1. Only remains y. Am I right? How about let me read by red. How about dw by dy? X is the number, it says only I have y, so it's equal to x. Clear? Now, how about dx by dt is equal to minus sine of t. Am I right? Hello? How about dy by dt is equal to cosine of t, because y is sine, so derivative of sine is cosine. I think it's not hard, just need practice. Now go to the other example. Of course, if you want to substitute the t at the end, the last line, the last step, you will resubstitute pi over 2. Clear, dears? Good. Now, we have another chain rule. Look at here. What's the difference between here and the other one? Yalla. Yeah, so we have w, right? W is x, y, z. And all of them is what? They have t. So I can direct find dw by dt. Clear, dears? And of course, 1, 2, 3. Of course, 1, 2, 3. And what's between them? Addition, addition. Is that clear, dear? Okay. Can you answer this example for me? Yalla, together, yalla. First, خلي راكس الجواب direct. يلا. I is equal to what? يلا جماعة. Yeah. dw by, so is equal to y only. Okay. Plus dw by y, x. dw by z, 1. Am I right? Good. Now, dx by dt minus sine of t, dy cosine t, dz only 1. Clear? Here you are. Anything? So what shall we do after that one? And we did this step. What shall we do? Yeah, substitute y as cosine, x as sine. If we have a z as t, we don't have it, fortunately. So we are going to solve it. Look at it and let me know if you understand or not, please. Yalla. Do you have any questions? Especially here. Clear? Not? Which one? All? The question? Okay. Read the question. He say find, for example, derivative by dt. So my w, I'm going to check w is contain what? I'm going to read. I say w okay. I say my w contain x, contain y, right? As well contain z. Do you have any problem? No. Then I'm going to x. X is contain which variable? T. Tamam? How about y? Same. How about z? Same. So I can say dw by dt. Tamam? But I know w is not alone. Has got 3 parts. X, y, and z. تمام? And I know x is not alone. So I say x dx and dy and dz. What do you mean by is not alone? I know x is what? X is by dt alone. Why? X چیه؟ cosine t. کاته بس یک variable تیه. کاتلم d. اما partial لبروی w سه variable. أشمستر x كاتن variable one variable, single variable. So I say dt. The same thing is true for here. The same thing is true for here. Now we will advance. No worries. ساعتين با x كدو variable بيه. R و s. T v. You got it? So how's going on? Later on. أوج example like to تيبقي. تيكا كنا 0. So we are going to use the rule. Our rule كتا partial. d. تمام? Then دانيتو partial أشيل w سيركي. عليه. Partial w by x. أما number 0. أما number يتدروا partially x كاتيك. So that's why we have only 1. The same thing is true for x and 1. Why 1? Why we got 1? Can you remember why we got 1? Because yes, partial derivative, derivative, partial derivative of w by z. So amana number 0. Derivative of z by z 1. Okay? Then you can just do dx by dt on asan. Then you will combine all of them. You will change all to t. Check من الأخيرة. Look. Y نامينه بيبقى t. شو given x نامينه given أبدا cosine. زيادة أجر هبوي كم بتي أجر نبوي So all of them is t. Then put t be 0. You will get the result. Sorry? Yes. It's simple. Look at here what we have now. My w is what? Why جماعات? Hello? How about x? X is what? rs 2. How about y? rs. How about that one? rs. What's going on with the previous one? In the previous one, x it was only 1, y1, z1, right? So w3 w3 1 2 3, but all of them 1. So you can say 1 3 1. Am I right? But now I have what? Now I have 1 3 2. Clear? Hello? So how we deal with it? We'll make it to 2 parts. So I have partial w by r. Why? Because w, you have rs. Forget about intermediate. So I cannot directly say partial r, dr. Why? Because we have r and s. I told you single d, more partial. So w depends on r and s. So I say partial w by r. Okay. Now, w is contained 3 things. X, y, z. Okay, so I have a partial. And at the same time, x depends on 2, r and s. So that's why instead of d, we change it to partial. Partial. This is first part for r. This is the second part for s. Look at here. How's going on? This is direct. This is part to part. Sorry. This is together one package. I cannot say D. I should say partial R and partial WI partial S. That's why. This is separately. Maybe you understand some. But now, with the example, I think you will get it. Second, look at it, Jamaat. What's going on? Read the question. What we have? Partial, for example, I say find partial R. So now I say partial W by partial R. In my mind, W is contained what, Kaka? X. Kaka, I'll say partial X. What else? Y. Also you have Y. Maybe, if in the example you don't have that one, stop. Okay? W2, it's okay, better. If I have it, I'm going to continue. If I don't have, I stop. I'll stop. Okay, plus. Clear. Now, I want to R. Of course, I'm going to talk about partial Z, X, partial Y, partial Z. All of them R. Clear. Yalla, let me do it together. If you can solve that one, means that you understand all. So equal to, okay, partial W by partial X, 0, 0, 1. Am I right? Hello? Plus. Yalla. Partial W by Y. I'll get what? 0, 0, 2. You are right. What else? Give me 1 sec. And 2Z, you are right. Why? Because partial W by partial Z is only Z is important. Now, fortunately, I have 2Z squared, which will be 2Z. Do you have any question with the black part? Yalla. Now I'm going to X by what? Let me change the color. Yalla. Tell me about the derivative by what? Partial derivative by R. So in that case, 1 over S is constant, right? Because I'm talking about only R. So derivative of R is equal to what? 1. Shall I repeat it? Clear? Good. Then tell me about the green one. Sorry. About the blue one. Yalla. So, here's my Y. By R is equal to what? 2R. Because ln of S is the number. Cancel it. How about the green one? Yalla. By R equal to 2. Then you will multiply and you will get the all. I will get what? 1 over S plus 4R plus 4Z. Z is what? Hello? Am I right? Substituting Z is what? Is 2R. So I'll get 8R with the 8, 12R 1 over s plus 12r. Do you agree with me? Do you have any problem? Okay, the same example. Now, يلا جماعة. Is your turn. Find partial by ws. Partial w by partial s. Day. Let me stop the video. Post it. Look at here. You can see from here. Partial w again. Quickly, I'm going to do it. Not wasting time. First, directly, even I answer, I'm not going to mix all of them. Partial, then I'm going to SS. Okay. So partial W, I will get 1. This one is not changed with the other one. 2 and 2Z. Good. Now, this one by S, it will be what? Exactly. So R's number, right, is going to have S minus 1. Okay. It will be what? Minus. Am I right? Bash. How about that one? 1 over S. How about that one? 0. So I get 0. It remains minus RS 2S. Clear? Easy. Good. In case you have a chance, your W is only XY. Thank you. Better. And here is R and S. So, just we are going to remove Z part. Am I right? Good. For example, we have partial X, W by partial X, again and again. So how we do it? Shall we do it together quick? Yalla. Khira khira. That one by R. So, I'm going to write down here. I'll get what? 2x, 1, 2y, again 1. Clear? So, 2x plus 2y, then I'm going to substitute x and y here. I'll get what? 2x, 2y, 2x, 2y, then I'll get 4r. How about the other part? Day Jamaat? Easy? Yes. 2x, 2y is the same. So here minus 1, 1. Minus 1 and 1. So I'll get 4s. Easy? Good. Now, how about that part? Easier, more special case. W only depends on what? On X. But X depends on R, S. So in here, what do you think? Can you write the rule by yourself? Let me read for you again. Write for you. Don't look at it, please. Don't look at it, please. Yalla. We say W, here we are, depends on X. And X depends on R and S. So tell me about partial or dW over R. Which one is true? Huh? Jarek, I meant true. Partial W over partial R is true, or dW over dr? They? dW. You are wrong. Yeah. Partial W by partial R, because W contains two things. Forget about X now. Good. Now, my W is dW over dx, or partial w over partial x? dw. You are right here. Tamam? dw. I don't have anything else. Okay. X is dx over dr or partial x per partial r? Partial, right? So now you know. It was so smooth and it was very special. So that's why your rule is only here the d, only here d. We don't care about the situation. We care about which variable is independent, which variable is dependent, and how many indeterminate or how many intermediate variable do we have. I'm زور ميمة I'm chartana. Then كاميان dependent W كم dependent لستر چی and how many independent we have. چند independent بانه. Is that clear, dears? Now, what else? Let me check. We have an implicit revised derivative. What's that? You said the implicit, right? And we talk about the partial derivative, which they are implicit. Clear. We say implicit the function, maybe, for example, if you have a w depends on x and y, and w with them, or w square, so we have implicit. For example, to be more clear, I see what? I see my function w is equal, for example, x plus y. That is implicit. If I make it to w square, now is implicit. If I have w equal to sine xw plus y, so in that case also is what is implicit. You remember that? Good. Now I have an implicit, but I can find by some other way. For example, let me check where's the example. Your function that one is calculus 1. Okay, this is in calculus 1. So how we use this rule? This rule, maybe you found that rule even in the grade 12. They call hack. It's not hack, it's a partial derivative. So directly, if you want to find first derivative for those functions that they are implicit, so we are going to use the partial derivative. How? We say minus fx over fy. Give me an example. Here's the example. You can find this one by the classic way that we did it at the beginning of this chapter, I remember. Together. Or by this new method. How? Sorry, sometimes happen. How? I say first, because implicit, so I'm going to use the theorem 8 or anything. I say y prime equal to minus fx by fy. Okay, tell me about fx. What do you mean by fx? Means that the partial of the function by x. Yalla, tell me. Hello? That one, number. That one, minus 2x. Am I right? Minus. Derivative of sine, cosine xy. Derivative of the angle, y is number. Derivative by x, only y. Am I right? Clear? Good. Now, the same function. Now the same function for denominator by what? By y. Yalla. That one will be what? 2y. That one will be 0 minus derivative of sine cosine xy. Derivative of the angle by y, only x. This is the result. You can do it as in the high school, bring a derivative, make the right side to be y prime, or directly by that one. Did you understand, dears? Good. Why we take that one? Because we have implicit partial. That was implicit derivative, d. You can see. Now I have implicit partial. Look at here. We have implicit partial. So, if your function, your z, your w, depends, or z, here's called z, depends on x and y, and you try to find implicit derivative, implicit partial derivative by x or by y, so here's the way. Change dy over dx, change to a partial z by partial x, partial z by partial y. And of course, z will be here, x will be in the numerator. I didn't get it. Okay, look at the example. You didn't get it. Look at the example. I know, maybe 20%, 10% you understand. That's good. So let me check for the others. Look, you have this example. Okay, so find partial x, z by partial x. Do you think it's implicit? Yes. Why? Because first of all, z is square. Z is inside. Why? Again, another z. That is not problem actually, but that one and that one, they are problem. Clear? So now, I am going to find them. So how we will do? How you do it? Yalla jamaat. Partial z again people. So we see that partial z by partial x, because it's implicit, I'm going to write minus fx fz. Am I right? Which is equal to minus by x by x. Am I right? Hello? By x 0. By z day, y is number, by z shall I repeat it? جماعة هو بتشي ببي z derivative ورقة z cosine of y ببي z ورقة ببي z أما مهم أما الرقم derivative z يك وايا أجا ببي y بوايا no z الرقم ومن z minus sine y clear كأجا اوكي اول ريزلت هي كمي طبعا هذا شيء ل 0 0 0 يعني 0 0 0 داينو شيء عند السكه سروا 0 اكا خوارو چنكات 0 0 cosine of 0 1 كواتبه بچي minus 0 over 1. Anything else جماعات أوش f زيادة. Anything else? كده minus 0 over 1. كده 0. باش. يلا tell me about or finding what? يلا ام جارة زيادة كده نعبور الجيريكا هونيا حركاته يك حلي كم؟ you don't need to. يلا partial z by partial y is minus fy fz. fz اكيد بيشو كرمان كردي يك ساين بس fy كاتا I don't know. اما 0 او 0 اما بس y كم مهمة اما نمبرة derivative of y 1 اي 3 ام plus اما الرقم derivative of cosine y by y is equal to minus sine of y. اما رايت جماعات كلير هستا 0 داني روا اما كاتا e to power 0 I'll get what? Yes. e to power 0 minus x معنى بير معنى نسيو كاتا minus 1 over 1 وكاتا هيك بوش كمان ميكنا 0 clear? Do you think you can answer the exercises if it's like that? Hiç yani derivative يدوز توتا. So basically if you have more, how we deal with it? No worries.